Hi, my name's Relevant, and today in the shop we got a brand new PRS SE Custom 24 in for a first setup. A buddy of mine just bought this thing and, well, he doesn't like stock tuning, so he brought it to me to get it set up. Mostly because he's from out of town and doesn't have his tools with him. So what do we have here? There's some sort of weird hybrid floating system that I'm not used to. And without lock tuners, I wonder how well that's gonna work. Right now it won't hold tune to save its life, but these fresh strings, they probably need a bit of stretching, but they're not going to get that chance because we're gonna be removing them. I'm too reluctant to use my power screwdriver on this thing, save that I slip and scratch it. I'm a bit nervous working on a guitar this nice. I'm not used to it. Usually my own guitars I can just bang around any old which way that I want. Might be being a bit too nice with these strings. Should probably just clip them off. I'm moving a bit slower than normal because this thing's just immaculate. These guys are kind of stuck in there. What you care? Oh, we got some D'Addario colors here. Looks like whoever strung this had some decent taste. This tuner here is tight. Tight tuners, they're good though. In retrospect, I would normally change these one at a time, but I'm kind of curious to look at this bridge system. All the string balls seem to get jammed in here. I have to push them out with a tool. That's strange. I don't think I've noticed anything like that on a guitar before. What's going on in these holes? Nothing out of the ordinary. Just seems they're a bit more of a smoother wedge shape, so I guess the little brass balls, being as soft as they are, kind of get jammed in there. Not gonna lie, I'm not sure how fancy I am on the fit and finish of this nut. It's like there's some weird scoring in there already. I don't know if that's for the string job or just a poor fitting job. I'm not sure what material this is made up of. It might last, or it might be something worth upgrading. As long as the strings move freely past it, we'll be okay. It should be able to maintain tuning stability. And what I'm curious about is this bridge system. Oh, they're in those holes good, bud. They don't want to come out. Well, you know what? Being a new guitar and all, I don't think it's worth popping these springs out right now because they're really in there, so I'm not gonna risk damaging the guitar or anything. It's a bit of a weird system because I haven't seen one like this in a while, or I can't remember the last time I seen something like this, but you know, we have your typical screws like what you see on a Fender, but they're not all the way in, and they have little grooves on them, kind of like a Floyd post would, and that's what it floats on. Maybe this is more common than I think. I'm just so used to working on Floyds, I don't see a lot of these other systems that go around. They do seem to be able to move freely if you want to fine-tune your action. Oh, well, I could probably pull one out to get a look at them. Yes. Standard threaded bridge screw. The little notch right there for the floater. It must be tricky to synchronize all these. Looks like that's about where it should be. Question is if we want to lower the action. Well, it seems that they have it stock set up in a decent enough way where if you actually did want to lower the action, you have lots of room for movement on these guys because the screw in there is recessed pretty deep, so you could bring these down by quite a margin without having those screws stick out on you. All right, where's the new strings? All right, what do we have here? 52 to 12 tuning, standard C. All right, what do we have here? Oh, they're bundling strings 2 together now. All right. Puller taut. Now, as mentioned, I'm usually used to working on Floyds. I'm doing guitars like this. I often go one peg up. That's where I get my length. You want as little wraps as possible, but enough to get a good grip on the peg. On my personal guitars, I don't put any wraps. I just pull the string taut and start winding it till it grips on its own. But then, you know, on my guitars, I'm around to fix it if it screws up. It also requires a lot of stretching to get that technique to go well. See, the more wraps you have, the more they have to stretch, so your tuning stability can take a hit. Now to index the one on the end, I'll actually take it, pull it back a peg, So then I can see how much slack it actually is. Oh, that sounds great. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and tune up on this thing, but, you know, I'm sure you've seen me and other people tune a guitar before, so I'll be right back. Alright, so his chosen tuning is C, F, A sharp, D sharp, G, C, aka C, F, was that B flat? Something flat? AKA C, F, B flat, E flat, G, C, standard C for all intents and purposes. And fortunately, we have not seen a whole heck of a lot of deviation in the bridge. We'll have to tighten the springs in the back just a touch, just to say. But then that's about it. Oh, those move rather smoothly. That's good. That's good. Aha. And now, such as the story of the floating bridge, a lot of back and forth, back and forth. Now, pro tip, sometimes if the tuning's a bit higher, give the string a little tug, and that might bring it down without having to actually adjust the tuner. From the looks of it, we need just a little bit more spring. Wrong screwdriver. Now mind you, sometimes just a little bit of spring turns into a lot of spring. Fine tuning. I don't know that they're flowing freely through this nut. This notch here is rather tight actually. Well, what do we do when that happens? That's better. That's a little quick hack job way of filing your nut though. The fact that I could file through it so easily like that shows this is probably just a cheap plastic nut, so you might want to watch out for that. That's probably why this one's got so much delay time. As I was tuning the fourth string here, I found it, you know, I'm tweaking up on the tension, but it's not responding right away. These are the perils of changing, heavily changing your string gauge. Now this one already feels a bit gaping, so I don't know that it has a lot of excuses. That trick also works on the bridge, because sometimes what happens is as you play your guitar, some nuts, they're just made out of brass or soft material, and as you play your guitar, the serrations in the string will start to cut serrations into the nut itself. And then, you know, two things happen. Your string can't move freely and smoothly, and your tuning stability takes a dump, but also it kind of sharpens it, and sometimes you end up breaking strings more. So sometimes I'll use that filing trick with the string over here too. Obviously that's repeatable only so many times before you start wearing things down to the point that your guitar's out of whack. So use it sparingly. At least using a string, the advantage is it's not so aggressive that it's going to chew through the material real quickly like you would if you were using a real file. Yeah, you're going to get some length out of these ones. It's that nut that I'm really worried about. Ah, yes, the string's responding faster now. Now we give it a little bit of a stretchy. Oh, C stayed. We lost F. B flat stayed pretty close. E flat stayed pretty good. Now, how's our bridge look? Yeah, our bridge looks good now. Nice and parallel. I'm not going to tweak on it anymore in this. But now we have to actually final tune this thing. So that's a process, a repetitive process of stretching and tuning and stretching and tuning. But remember, be careful on the little string. It likes to break on you if you stretch it too aggressively. F kept. Oh, G stayed pretty good. Ah, B flat stayed. So in this situation, we have, you know, we got the tuning on, but if I press the string up here, the tuning stays high. We're still not moving freely through that nut. Then as long as we don't tension it there, we'll have to see. Oh, I dislike this part. Now one problem you run into with a sloppy nut is every time you stretch one string and then the floating bridge dips and releases tension on all the other strings, it throws the tuning off on all the other strings too. And then the slack gets caught up before the nut, so hopefully that's something that wears in time. Yeah. Give her the old pressing here. And then way higher tuning and then a pull. Back down. Oh boy. Alright. Oh yeah, that's jammed in there real good. And the thing you're watching for is making the nut wider. You want to be careful not to put the downward pressure, or else you're going to make it deeper and screw up your action. You just want to make it wider, so don't press down, you know, kind of hold it where the string's supposed to sit and go back and forth. But I will try to deepen and round off the edge on this side. Don't do it on this side, because that affects your action. But on this side, as it goes down towards the tuning peg, so that it doesn't hang up right here. Let's see if we can get better tuning stability now. See? Look at that. Let's get our C. Pretty close. Stretchy. So we got ourselves a C. Press. Still a bit high, but it returned to C. It returned a heck of a lot closer to C than it did before. Oh, ho, 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 ho. That one really locked high. It looks like a lot of this nut's gonna need more work. That's the one that was being a nuisance before. Oh yeah, she's tight, bud. Remember, we're not pushing down. And we want to get a bit of this edge here. So let's get our F. There we go. Now she's returning. How's the B flat? B flat seems like it's going to be good. E flat. That seems like it's going to be good. Oh. Okay, this is tricky now. But there could be more. I can't imagine these ones getting that hung up. And it's harder to file on the ones that aren't serrated or wrapped or, what's it called again? Wound. It is a pretty tight fit, actually. You know, we'll pull her through. Grab this one when we're at it. And Buddy's recommending we hit it with a bit of fast fret. We'll put a lubrication. That one's gonna be good. Okay, so a G. Okay. We got our return. This one still needs a touch more, the big one. Alright, now it's returning. I think our F needs a bit more. That's the tricky one, eh? Like, we're pretty close. I don't want to file too much more on it, so... that should be good enough. So we got our bass tune in here, and good news, the neck has barely moved. But I kind of predicted that since, you know, we didn't have to adjust on the bridge too much. And I think I'm mostly happy with this action. Buddy knows how to fine tune that if he has to. It really hasn't changed because, you know, the bridge position or the neck position has actually moved. Now it's just a question of intonation, which is always fun. But at least on a guitar like this, it's not as difficult as some. Okay, yeah, the screwdriver is going to do it for us. Okay, so let's see how our intonation's doing. C. Oh, that's pretty good. How about this one? That's pretty good. I think we're getting lucky with the intonation here. That one's too close to tell. I think your intonation's all on here. Oh boy, I think we're pretty much done. I can't think of anything else to do here. Obviously, we're gonna have to play on it a bit there to maybe stabilize it a bit. Strings might still have a bit of stretching to do, but you know, that's all gonna fall into place. The nut might still need a little bit of smoothing out there, but now that I showed him the technique, he'll know what to do. And, you know, the guy knows his way around guitars, so he could figure out the rest. Mostly it was an opportunity to make a video and the fact that he didn't have the tools on him. So, I guess that's just about it. Pickups are a bit, not sure how I feel about them. I think they're PAF style. Now mind you, this is also not the amp I'm used to playing.